Right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully we'll have some more people coming as we go through, but I'll just start us off with a reminder that this call is being recorded, so your mics and cameras are off to maintain anonymity. So we're just going to start by very quickly recapping GATE for anybody that doesn't know what it is when they come across this recording on YouTube. So Guiders Against Trans Exclusion is an unincorporated association of like-minded people who've come together to fight transphobia within girl guiding. It is made up of members, ex-volunteers, parents and allies who oppose Girl Guiding's decision to ban trans women and girls from joining the organisation. It is run by volunteers and is not affiliated with or a subgroup of Girl Guiding. Membership is strictly restricted to adults only in order to ensure our members are protected. This is because of safeguarding rules, as many are still members of Girl Guiding and one-to-one contact with under 18s is not allowed. So we are avoiding this by limiting who can join. So, GATE was formed on the 2nd of December 2025 within hours of the email from Girl Guiding, which said that trans girls and young women will no longer be able to join Girl Guiding. Although this only mentions girls and young women, it is clear that this policy affects all adult trans women too, and no trans women are allowed to join as leaders. Girl Guiding have stressed that no volunteers will have to leave, as many volunteer roles are open to all genders, but this seems extremely short-sighted when trans women are seemingly being forced out of leadership roles. This decision came about due to significant legal pressure, as they said in the all-members call that Girl Guiding held this week. They have not given further details about this, but a news article and a letter before claim from November show that they were facing a claim of direct and indirect discrimination against a potential young member due to the trans-inclusive policy. We are not sure if this is the only case that affected the decision. Moving on to why we're here today. This is an all-members call for members of GATE. We will cover who we are, what's already happened, how you can get involved, and what we're looking to do in the future. Please put any comments and questions you have in the chat, which is being monitored by our lead team. And we will have a Q&A at the end where we can answer your questions. So some questions may receive responses in the chat and others during the Q&A. We will endeavour to answer all your questions as best we can. Any misconduct or breaking of our community guidelines will result in being expelled from the call. So this includes any violent or threatening language, transphobia, homophobia, racism or ableism. We'll now go back to the 2nd of December when Girl Guiding made the announcement. GATE started off as a group of friends who were angry about the decision and made a group chat to talk to more people about it. That then snowballed and the WhatsApp community was created. Separate from that, someone started a Facebook group and someone else started a petition to reverse the decision, which was then shared within and beyond our community. As the first set of protests were organised and people started coordinating efforts, the GATE lead volunteer team was born. Today, we'd like to introduce ourselves, as many of you won't know who we are or what we're doing. The team structure has changed over the last few weeks as more roles have been needed and as people's involvement has changed over time. So we now have 7 lead volunteer roles, which we will run through with a basic overview of what we each do, but everyone has done a bit of everything so far. We've been working really hard behind the scenes and want to support everyone in our community and further our aims as best we can. Our team is made up with a mixture of people from all over the UK who are involved in Girl Guiding at the time of the decision. Some are resigning and some are not. Some have lived experience of being trans and others have not. We come from all around the UK and bring a variety of skills to the table. In addition to the lead team, we've had our comms team who are very actively helping with the social media and events, as well as some committee advisors who have helped shape GATE but cannot commit to being on the lead team. We'd like to expand the opportunities available, which we will discuss later in the call. So I'll start us off. My name is Anna. I'm the secretary and a London organiser. This means that I take the minutes, plan meetings and send out invitations. We decided against the role of chair or president as we've come to this as equals and we don't want anyone to take on more responsibility than they want. So that means that it's my job to manage meetings. I'm also monitoring our inbox and replying to messages that come through alongside our treasurer.
And I'm Bethan. I use she, they pronouns, and I am the treasurer for GATE, and also the one in charge of anything merchandise or badges. So that means I oversee anything involving money, such as bank accounts, paying invoices, refunding expenses, and giving financial updates to all of you. And more excitingly, I also arrange any badge and merch orders and complete the packing and postage when they arrive, as well as answering any issues and questions that come up regarding our website or order process.
Hi, I'm Elle. I use she, her pronouns, and I am Gates campaign lead, which means I focus on working with our strategy advisors as well as lots of smaller teams to plan Gates' future actions and any potential new campaigns that could be released, like our just released 100 for 100 campaign, which came out this week, which I'll talk a little bit more later on. I also help support the other leads with planning events such as protests, as well as assist the lovely Bethan at doing the website and finding ways to get people involved.
Hi everyone, my name is Lo. I use they, she pronouns, and I'm Gates' lead volunteer for communications, which means I lead our social media teams and I ensure that everything that goes out is in line with our branding, including our very exciting badges that you'll see later on, and our campaigns and our handbooks and everything else that goes out from us. You might also recognize myself and Elle from our podcast, Reopen the Gate, and later on I'll be sharing about what we've been working on behind the scenes at Gate. I'm also going to introduce the lovely Erin, who was not able to make the call, but she is our safeguarding lead. She has been working super hard behind the scenes, writing all our risk assessments. She's our designated safeguarding lead, so anything that's safeguarding that comes up goes straight to her. And she's also been making sure that we're sharing all information as safely as we can. She's also the one that kind of spearheaded the Unlocking the Gate handbook for volunteers.
Hi, I'm Becca. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the welfare officer, which means I'm just here to help you guys and support you guys. So I can help by signposting you to different resources. I'm here for chat if you need it, and I can also help connect you with other gators to have a chat and have some support. I'm also who you should contact if you're having any accessibility issues with any of our campaigns or events, just anything that we're doing. We've also recently set up a disabled Gators group in the WhatsApp community if you want to find peer support there. So just message me or the Gate account with welfare if you want to talk to me.
Hi, I'm Alex, and I use they them pronouns, and I'm the lead volunteer for events and youth engagement. That essentially just means that I get to oversee a lot of the fun things that we do, as well as acting as the deputy safeguarding lead for Gate. I'm always looking for more ways to engage our young members of guiding, especially as we're a closed group for over 18s. It's our belief that the voices of our young people are the strongest and the ones that we need to be amplifying the most right now. So it's really, really important to all of us at the team that we are reaching out to our young people. As the meeting does go on, if you do see me flitting about, it's because I am running the PowerPoint that you'll see alongside all of our talking. So if it looks like I'm doing about 10 things at once, it's because I am doing about 10 things at once.
Hi, I'm Lily. I'm more in an advisor role than a leadership role, but I'll introduce myself anyway. My role is strategy, which is a bit deliberately vague as it's covered quite a few things so far. If you were at the London protests, I spent quite a lot of that time shouting at all of you through a microphone. But beyond that, I kind of do things like advising on how to build advocacy campaigns, recommending strategies for how to approach certain things, doing a lot of investigating of the wider sort of legal and political context that's led to this change in girl guiding, and also a little bit of external relations, which in layman's terms means building relationships with other organisations and charities with similar objectives to ours.
Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the behind the scenes of what we've been working on and what Gate has already accomplished. So we've been so excited to see how much of an impact we've had already. I think our most visible action, both within Gate and externally to news reporters and all that kind of stuff, has been our protest with hundreds of protesters across 6 cities. So these are in December, we had protests in Edinburgh, London, and Sheffield. And in January, we had protests in Cardiff, Manchester, and Birmingham. And it was really nice to see you all there. We've also been promoting a petition urging Girl Guiding to reverse the decision, which was not created by Gate, but has been heavily supported and now has over 36,000 signatures. We also have a collective letter of intent to resign that has over 400 signatures. And we have some other similar petitions that have a good amount of signatures as well. We've reached a lot of people via our social media channels, as well as, and as Gate leader for comms, I'm so excited to share some of my favorite statistics. So first off, our lovely Instagram account, which has 3,981 followers. You can see the other follower accounts on our other social medias as well. So our Facebook has 250, Bluesky has 84 because it's a relatively smaller platform, and our TikTok has an amazing 2,298. You'll see some of our stats on some of these slides as well. I don't want to go over them too in depth, but our most popular content on all platforms has been our protest posts, as well as highlighting young members' thoughts as well. We also have our YouTube channel where we've been posting craftivism tutorials and some testimonies. We've also launched our podcast, Reopen the Gate. The first 2 episodes are already out, so definitely go and check them out if you haven't already. The episodes will continue to come out over the following months. We've not committed to an exact release schedule because we're still learning, as I'm sure you can imagine. But so far we've talked about resignations and personal reactions to the announcements, had some guests on to speak with us, and we have plans to discuss the legal situation who led us here. We have a whole community backing these episodes, so if you have any thoughts on what else you want us to cover or any questions that you have for us, please do get in touch with us either by email or by commenting on the channel. And of course, at the end of the day, we're all guiders or parents and friends of guiders, so we know how much badges can drive a cause. So we've already made up some awesome badges, as you can see on our screen, and we expect the pre-ordered gate and risk assessment badges to arrive this week or next week at the absolute latest. It's incredible that we've managed to get badges made in less than 11 days between the announcement and the first set of protests. Those in London and Sheffield were able to get their badges, but those that joined us in Edinburgh, unfortunately, the Royal Mail lost their Edinburgh's badges. So they got sent out a little bit later on, and Bethan, our wonderful treasurer, has spent so many weeks trimming the badges and sending them all out. So we're so excited to see what the new ones look like. You'll also see on this page, we have our badge set for 100 for 100. Elle will be talking a little bit more about this later, but I wanted to highlight it because it is such a big, important thing that we have been working on. And it's been great to see how many people feel passionate about the issue. Finally, we've had some contact with politicians and other organisations. We've received support from the Scottish Green Party in particular, as well as other advocacy groups for trans rights and inclusion, such as Transparent Action. What the Trans and Pink News have been covering us as we've went along in our protests and other campaigning actions, and Trans Kids Deserve Better even hosted their own protest at Girl Guiding HQ, unrelated to what we have been doing. We are also lucky to have individuals with a bit of a bigger reach, such as Robin Ince and Holly Webb, who are vocally supporting our cause. We'd like to reach out to even more people, so if you have any useful contacts, please do let us know. And finally from me, you might be wondering about the Girl Guiding of it all. So Girl Guiding reached out to those who started the WhatsApp community, the Facebook group, and the petition to have a meeting back in early December. And this started a series of meetings that we'd like to tell you more about. So I'm going to pass over to Anna for that section.
So in total, Gate representatives have met with senior staff members from HQ 4 times now. The main reason for these meetings was to discuss the protests, share our members' feedback, and ask questions. Our code of conduct and risk assessments were shared with HQ so they could understand what to expect and the level of risk for staff in the Girl Guiding locations we protested outside of in December. As part of that meeting, they agreed to give us a statement to share publicly saying that no one would be punished for protesting and that the decision was not made due to any safeguarding concerns. There's also been contact with region staff regarding the protests, who were also sent our risk assessment and code of conduct, making sure that everyone, both in the protests and inside the Girl Guiding buildings, was a top priority to keep everyone safe on both sides. There has been some content discussed in these meetings that we aren't yet able to make public, but we are being as transparent as we safely can be, and summaries of our meetings are freely available to anyone who wishes to know more. It is clear from these meetings that Girl Guiding are not fully aware of what is actually happening at a local level, and the people that we've spoken to at HQ have really valued being able to hear our feedback that we've been able to pass on from our members about poor commissioner responses, the copy and paste answers from Wellbeing, and the response to the all members call in December. We're glad to see that our advice has been taken on board regarding the use of transphobic language, but other suggestions of ours have been met with resistance, including our request to have a GATE member on the task force panel, which was denied. Based on the questions that Girl Guiding could and could not answer, we understand that the team has been given very strict legal advice regarding what they can and can't say about the policy change and the circumstances surrounding it, both publicly and to us. However, we are in the process of filling in a few of the gaps with our own research and plan to share our findings soon. So stay tuned. They also offered support with safeguarding and have taken cases we have raised very seriously. Anyone being pushed out of roles can contact safeguarding, as whoever is doing that, whether it's a fellow leader or a commissioner, is breaking policy and therefore should be reported, no matter how much more senior their position. This can also be done anonymously through us, if needed. If you've contacted safeguarding and not heard back after a few days, please also send this to us to pass on to our main contact at HQ. It is clear that they care about member support as individuals, and we hope that their actions start to reflect this. In spite of some of the sticking points mentioned, we hope to keep an ongoing dialogue with Girl Guiding, while at the same time continuously reviewing meeting necessity and the overall benefit to our community. I'll now hand over to our Treasurer to give us a finance update.
Thanks, Anna. So in terms of finance, we have done quite a lot very quickly. We have paid for many things which have been vital in getting GATE going in the safest way that we can. So that has included getting the high vis for our marshals and organisers at protests, megaphones so that you could hear us, the payments for our website domain and our shop system, paying for all of the various badges, and the postage costs of getting them to you as well. Since our website was launched on the 1st of January, we have had a grand total of 259 orders. So thank you all very much. Very appreciated. We've not had a single day since we launched that an order hasn't come through. And I do get a notification for every single order. So I do appreciate that. So we've had 2 days that have had more orders than any other days. Our first was our website launch day on the 1st of January, where we had a total of 42 orders, while the other was the launch of our 100 for 100 campaign on the 19th, where we had nearly double that with 82. So within all of those orders, 772 individual products have been bought. And when you take into account the embroidered badges that we sold before the website launched, that number increases to 1,197. So guiders love badges. We know that. Now the evidence is here. So breaking it down, our most popular item currently is the GATE logo woven badge with 214. Followed by the Revolution will be risk assessed woven badge and the GATE enamel pin. Unsurprisingly, there's a bit of a drop in numbers for all of the things that were released on the 19th. So that's our campaign pack, the volunteer handbook, and our 100 for 100 badge set. So one thing is, because of the way our cash flow is currently working while we're getting set up, we have had to pay to order our badges, but we will not receive payment from our website until they have actually been sent out to you. That being said, we can see how much is pending and waiting to come out once those orders are fulfilled. So taking that pending income into account, we have roughly £2,600 in income and have had more in outgoings of roughly £3,625. So that is due to us buying in enough badges to hold sufficient stock for the next few months, meaning that we can buy them in at a lower cost, but also make them cheaper for you guys to buy. While it looks like a big number, making up that deficit will only take about 14 units ordering the 100 for 100 badge sets for all of their members. So one of that's going to be covered by my unit anyway, so make it 13. And then all following orders will put us in the green. So because of that difference right now, we will not be releasing any more badges or merch until we have sufficient funds in order to actually get them. Although I will always accept more ideas to add to my list of badge ideas. So for that same reason, we'll also be holding a reserve of funds in our account at any time, so that we can make further purchases without putting us into any financial risk. And then once we are making money over that reserve level, we will then be looking to donate those funds to charities and organisations of your choice. So there will be a place to suggest which organisation you'd prefer on a survey that will be sent out to you at the end of this meeting. But now I will hand over to Alex to go over our policies.
As I said, events, I get to do all of the fun things. So I'm going to talk to you about some of the policies that we have been working on. We're going to give you a little bit of a rundown of the policies that we've written and where you'll be able to find them. So first off is our constitution. This explains how GATE works as an unincorporated association. A lot of the elements of the constitution have already been mentioned, so things like what roles are held and what each of those roles do. It also covers elements like finance, membership, and what we will do should GATE ever, fingers crossed, hopefully, need to dissolve. It was important to us that our constitution centres around support, respect, and care for one another. It's at the core of our values, and this document is written to ensure that all of the decisions that we make are transparent and as member involved as they possibly can be. We will be holding an AGM within 1 year of the formation of GATE, which started officially on the 2nd of December 2025. This will work very, very similarly to the call that we're on now. Financial reports will be given during lead team meetings, and budgets will be kind of kept up to date and available for everyone on the lead team, should anybody at any point need to request those. We also have policies for safeguarding. So our safeguarding policy just covers our process for handling disclosures and ensures that we're acting in accordance with relevant law. Data protection is similar. It's just ensuring that we're acting in line with any relevant laws and keeps us accountable for how we are storing and using personal data. Finance is there to give us a set structure for how our finances will be managed, their purpose, and it also helps to eliminate the potential for the misuse of any funds. Our equality, diversity and inclusion policy has helped us to set out clear commitments to EDI. It also helps to ensure that our safeguards are there in place and to outline how any unfair treatment will be prevented and addressed by the team. Our partnerships and representatives policy is very much about ensuring that our partnerships with any external organisations align with our terms in terms of like aims, our values and our safeguarding standards, and making sure that they all match up across the board. It also helps us to clarify who can represent GATE in what capacity, and it provides our volunteers with clear boundaries and backing when they're engaging externally on behalf of us. We do also have a refunds policy should anyone ever need to use that, and it just explains how and when our refunds will be issued, ensuring that all of our refund decisions are fair, transparent and consistent across all of our members. All of these policies are completed apart from the partnerships and representatives policy, which I am still in the process of writing. I know that they're all completed because I wrote them, and then the team made sure that they all kind of made sense and that we were happy with them. A publicly available version of the Constitution will be available hopefully on our website. We should have a section on our website dedicated to our policies where you can go and have a look at them. The reason that our Constitution will be slightly different is because we are retaining the version that has all of the lead volunteers' full names and signatures on it. That will not be published on our website. There will be a version of it, but it will only have lead volunteers' first names. That's purely just to protect our identity. So that's all of the kind of policy stuff needs to be talked about. It's a little bit boring. I'm now going to talk to you about how you can actually get involved in GATE. So we do have a structure. This is a lovely diagram of our structure. So as we've already talked about, we have our lead volunteer team. This is made up of 7 roles. It was previously a little bit bigger than that, but we had a few people step out and we kind of rejigged everything around to make it just more streamlined for us, really. We do also have region representative roles. At the moment, some of us as lead volunteers are acting in these roles as well. If you would like to be a representative for your region, please do get in touch, and we will help you make sure that you kind of get set up and that we're supporting you to do that. The subcommittees that we currently have are finance, which is overseen by our treasurer, the communications subcommittee, which our communications lead oversees, the strategy subcommittee overseen by our campaigns lead, and we also have the health and safety and safeguarding subcommittee, which myself and Erin, our safeguarding lead, oversee, as we are your designated safeguarding lead and I am your deputy designated safeguarding lead. Going forward, we would like to have more subcommittees to help support the lead team and work on campaigns and keeping our community going. This may look like some of our other teams in the form of our social media team. We also have committee advisors, which is essentially what Lily is, one of our strategy committee advisors at the moment. We also have a big team who do our law kind of advising for us at the moment. So the places that we really would like more support from you guys are these. So outreach, anyone who can help us connect with media, press, celebrities, politics, so anybody that's got good knowledge of how the government works and to help guide our political efforts. Anybody in law or with a knowledge of how the law works, what we can and can't do or say, and how to help us work with external groups such as the Good Law Project, just to kind of further our case and our cause. Content creation is a big one at the moment. If anybody is up there on social media, graphics, designing merch, writing slogans, identifying trends in the market, making videos, or is just generally a Canva whiz, we will more than welcome you onto our content creation team at the moment. In terms of podcast, we are hopefully looking for people who have experience with producing podcasts, video editing, captioning, writing for kind of like script, questions and interview style writing, but also helping us to reach out to guests to have on there. For our merchandise, it's going to look like the creating and selling of merchandise, helping to manage sales and sending out orders alongside Bethan. And for events, I would just love to have a team of people to help organise protests, organise other events, get some proper virtual events going as well so that we can all come together more easily as a national unit. And yeah, just generally do all of that good stuff. So we do already have some people doing these roles, but we want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to contribute as and where they would like to. We are sending out a form after this meeting, and on that form, there will be tick boxes for each of these areas and space to share any experience that you think you've got that would benefit us that we haven't talked about or considered. So please do fill out that form for us. It would be really, really useful. We want this community to be run by all of the community. It's really, really important to us. In order to get stuff done, ultimately, some of the decisions will be lead volunteer led and made. But where we can, we want to have people supporting what we've already started and being involved to the level that they want to be involved with going forwards. You can sign up to multiple teams, but please think about what you can commit to over the upcoming months. Don't do what I do, which is say yes to everything, and then in like 2 days' time, realize that you're literally doing about 500 things and have to drop out. Just tell us what you want to get involved with, and we will support you to do that. But don't burn yourself out at all. It's not worth burning yourself out over. I am now going to hand over to Elle to speak about our campaigns and a little bit about what the future of Gate might look like.
Hi, so again, I'm Elle and I'm our campaigns lead at the moment at Gate. And I'm just going to talk to you guys a little bit about how best to get involved with Gate and how to make your own voices heard. So right now, the best way for you guys to get involved is to collaborate with us and work on the challenges that we've released for our 100 for 100 pack. This focuses on 100 challenges based on speaking up, showing up, and being heard to help us meet the aims that we have set in our mission statement and show to not just Girl Guiding, but the world that we, as members of Guiding, stand against this decision and stand in solidarity with the trans community. Further, this will also help us emphasise the importance of inclusive action and inclusive policy making towards governmental bodies in future and to making the world just a nicer and safer place. So here at Gate, we have 3 initiatives per action that we are going to be taking on as our main initiatives. So those are ones that we are going to be actioning ourselves and making sure that we highlight to get the most involvement with. But of course, we have loads more that we are asking you guys to collaborate with and make sure that you tell us about and what you're getting up to. And we also have 5 challenges made specifically for the upcoming 100-year anniversary of World Thinking Day, which we hopefully should have sorted by World Thinking Day or around about to stand with the trans community and those who are missing out on the guiding experience on World Thinking Day as we think of those around the world. Our social media over the next couple of weeks will focus on at least 1 pillar of action per week. So our pillars of action being to speak up, show up, and be heard. So each week we'll focus on that with different challenges highlighted, showing evidence and ideas and new ways to get involved. Further on that, we have a super awesome website. If you haven't seen it yet, please make sure to check it out because it is beautiful. There are some wonderful website wizards, aka Bethan, who has been working on the website alongside myself to add progress bars to each of the challenges so you can see as we update them, because we do have to manually update them, how much progress each challenge has gotten to get to our 100 goal of each. We've already ticked off 4 challenges and there's many more that we know have already been completed, but we just would like you guys to send evidence of them so that we can check them off and be able to show them off in future. To further on this, our website and all of the resources and booklets that we have available, including the 100 for 100 pack, but also our Unlocking the Gate volunteer resource booklet, are all free to download on our website. So if you head to the shop, it will ask you to check out, but once that is gone through, there is no payment, and then you will get the link to download your copy. This can be downloaded and shared as many times as you'd like, but please encourage people to check out our website so that they can see everything that is available to them. The challenge booklet is there, as well as the Unlocking the Gate booklet, which will help get conversations rolling, as well as provide a little bit more support if you're unsure on how to bring up these conversations, either with your fellow leaders, but also within your unit at an appropriate level. Yeah, so now we're going to talk a little bit about our aims for the future. So going forwards, we want to hear from you guys as our member team, our member group, to see where we want to go forward next. We know very little about what's happening with the Girl Guiding Task Force. We've been in communication with HQ about what it is, and we know that there are some amazing GATE members who are also going to be a part of the task force, but we don't know how that is going to look overall just yet. We also know that many people are so disappointed and disheartened by the Girl Guiding All Members call earlier this week, by comments that were made, as well as any of the issues that have come up and the intentions being made visible that they are not currently looking for a way to reverse the policy. So with that in mind, we want to make sure that our energy and our community are focused on driving change and are evaluating where we should be targeting with GATE. So within our 100 challenges, we will be putting pressure on Girl Guiding, our Charity Commission, and the Royal Charter, but as well as that, we will also be focusing on governmental bodies, MPs, and representatives. So we want to hear from you guys where you want us to focus our aims, and if that is going to stay with forcing pressure onto Girl Guiding to try and change their policy, or whether or not that expands to a wider change and then moves back to Girl Guiding when that change has been made initially. Once this has been made clear by you guys, we'll move forward with planning our next campaigns, our next steps, to make sure that maximum impact is always our top priority. Yeah. There has been a lot of interest in more protests. We're aware of this. Our wonderful team and organisers have been going and getting things started with that. So we know that there is planning in the works, but we also know that there are so many places that we are not able to provide direct support currently as lead volunteers or protest organisers. So this is where we really need people to step into region reps so that we can reach out, give support, and show how to help you guys with that. Yeah. We also want to make sure that we are interacting with the community in many ways as possible. So we will be showing up where we can in local community events and collaborating with other people so that we can do the best for the communities that we are present in, and we will provide as much support as we possibly can. We also want to know what success looks like to you. So I'm going to pass over to Alex back for a second, just so that we can do a little bit of an interactive episode with you guys.
Perfect. I am just going to get it up. You can probably hear the fire alarm going off in the background because someone is cooking bacon. So apologies if you got that beeping. Bear with me while I just begin to share the new screen. There we go. So everybody should be able to see that. If you cannot join the Mentimeter, please feel free to pop your response to the question into the chat box, and one of the lead team will pop it onto the Mentimeter for you. But hopefully people can get involved. I will also leave the Mentimeter open as the meeting continues as well, so that people can just keep adding to it as we go. But these are looking really, really good so far.
Okay, these all look really good, guys. So we're going to keep the Mentimeter open so that people can continue to show off their ideas and let us know what we need to be doing to support you guys and to have success. We will also be releasing a form shortly. It'll give everyone the opportunity to tell us what they think we should be working on and tell us what our #1 priority should be moving forward with the new information that we have received. So if you want to help guide our strategy for the next couple of months, please make sure to interact with that and share that to everybody that you know will get involved with Gate over the next wee while. Outside of Gate, we know that there are many, many groups working on protecting trans people within the law. There are many others fighting for trans rights, and there's some groups that you can help support win this fight with us. A couple are on screen at the moment. We do currently have a petition at change.org that has 36,000 signatures. In order to promote governmental change, we do need to petition on their specific website to get them to bring it up. But we will be working on that in the next short while, provided that is what you guys want us to move forward with. We are also curious if Girl Guiding ran a campaign about this in future, questioning whether or not they would support us in future. Would you guys be interested in working alongside them? This is very much we don't know what's going to happen in the future situation, and we don't know what the legal position will be in the next wee while. So please just keep telling us what you are looking for, and we will keep trying to hold up our end as much as possible and try and keep everybody else right whilst we're at it. But yeah, I'm gonna pass on now to Alex, who's going to talk a little bit more about youth engagement.
Yeah, so I'm going to chat to you now about youth engagement. So obviously, Gate is a closed group. We are currently closed to under 18s. So you'll notice that all of our closed groups, like the Facebook group page, or the group rather, not the page, the Discord server and the WhatsApp community are all strictly 18 plus. And we do ask that if anyone knows of someone within those spaces who is under the age of 18, to please let myself, Erin, or any of the other members of the lead team know as soon as possible. This is to safeguard our members and to prevent one-to-one contact with young people. This includes in virtual spaces. If you wouldn't do it within your role as a Girl Guiding leader, don't do it within the kind of Gate community. In fact, I would say that as Gate, we are probably stricter about contact with anybody under the age of 18. Many people here are still Girl Guiding volunteers, and we are connected in relation to Girl Guiding. So it is important that we do continue to safeguard our members. However, that doesn't mean that young people can't get involved. And we have myself, the youth engagement lead, to look at how we can support and engage our young members going forwards. It's really important to hear young members' voices on this, as we are a girl-led movement, and they do need to have a say in the direction of Girl Guiding and what that direction is. We want to support volunteers and parents to have those conversations and to support their young members. So we encourage anyone under the age of 18 to follow on our social media pages or our blog on our website, which is updated weekly. Alongside our volunteer handbook, we will be looking into resources to release for young people, and they can use the resources on our website already, such as our templates for writing to local MPs, and we would love to see some completed versions of any of our colouring sheets as well. And as you're doing things with your units, any crafty bits, please do send those in to us. We really, really do enjoy seeing them, and a lot of the times we can share those with our wider community on our social media as well. We also encourage under 18s to participate in protests, but we would like to take this opportunity to remind you that anyone under the age of 18 attending a protest must do so with a trusted adult over the age of 18. This is for their own safety as well as part of our safeguarding policy. If you did have a unit of guides or rangers and you wanted to attend a protest as your unit, that's perfectly fine. We would like you to treat it as any kind of outing that you would be doing with your unit. So all of the girl guiding procedures are already in place there, and you should follow those as you would any other event that you do with your unit. But you are allowed to step in as your young people's trusted adult. They just can't come without one. So if for any reason it wasn't necessarily safe for them to come with parents, but they did want to show their support, as long as you're bringing a group with you, that should be absolutely fine. The inclusion and safety of our young people is the most important thing to us, and it's the reason why GATE exists in the first place, and we will strive to do everything in our power to ensure the inclusion and safety of all of the young people within our care. So that concludes it for essentially everything that we needed to tell you. We are now going to open up to Q&A. I am not 100% sure which of us is running this, so I'm going to very, very briefly hand over to Anna whilst I get everything ready for the Q&A prepared on my screen.
Okay, we have we've been putting all of your questions into a document so that we can go through and answer them. So I think Lily is going to start off with our first one.
Sure. So the first question we have is, if anyone has decided to go through with not paying adult subs, our leaders and I were talking about it, but unsure if it's a going thing still. So we have been following this discussion and we are aware of it. As GATE ourselves, we are not in a position in terms of our knowledge of the law, our knowledge of girl guiding structure and enforcement to advise of whether or not this is a good idea and what the consequences of doing it would be. So we can't encourage it, we can't discourage it. This is a decision that you have to make for yourself and your unit. You know if your unit is in a position to do this, if you as adults are in a position to do this, and if you are able to handle whatever consequences this course of action could entail for you and your units. If you do want to organise a collective action of your own about it, by all means go ahead. Unfortunately, we just don't have that expertise or that knowledge of what the consequences would be. We can't risk assess it. It can't come from us.
Thank you, Lily. And if I'll hand over to Bethan for the next question.
Thank you. The next question we got was, where are the minutes of the meetings with girl guiding that we've had? So far we have put those on our WhatsApp group and I believe also our Facebook group. But thank you for this question, because I will now put some summaries on the website. I will try and get all those summaries out by the end of this week and have them in an easily findable place, but we'll get them so they're more visible for everybody. And then I will just follow straight on, because the next question was also for me. Someone asked, are we looking for donations to GATE? We will need to look into the legalities of donations to our association. We don't want ourselves to get in any sort of financial trouble or end up getting concerned with any of that stuff. There is a potential we could add a tip option to the website. So when you make an order, you can give us a little tip, but any money that you would give us would not go directly to any one person. It would just go back into the organisation to pay for the things. And on that exact same note, someone else asked, how have we funded the outgoings while we're still waiting for the pending income plus the deficit? So I I should add a very big thank you for those who have put the money in. So a few of us on the lead team very kindly donated some of their money or loaned some of the money. It will come back to them once we get our income back in again. You also asked, are individuals out of pocket? And if so, how can we reduce that? So some people have given some money, but our best way to reduce it right now, while we're trying to figure out the legalities of donations and things, is to buy our badges, buy anything on the website, spread the word to any other guiders you know who might be interested in a badge. And then the quicker we sell badges, the quicker we will have our money back. But then the next question I will hand over to either Lo or Phoebe. I'm not sure who's taking it.
Okay, I'm gonna take it and then I'll let Phoebe talk a little bit further about it. So the question is, what does a regional role actually involve? So you might have seen it on the big diagram that Alex was talking about earlier, that kind of, we've got separate roles for each region. So these would be reaching out to more local groups. Obviously, we want to work as closely as possible with other trans inclusive organizations, and a lot of them have Manchester specific or Birmingham specific or Scotland specific groups. So it would be reaching out to those, other charities, politicians, especially in the devolved nations that have their own parliaments for separate things, as well as hopefully organizing more regional events, including protests, but not necessarily limited to that. It can be a very flexible role, and you will have support from all of the lead team. We're currently working on a couple different resources to help future protest organizers and that kind of thing. And I'm going to pass over to Phoebe, who is currently working on kind of region-specific roles.
Right, so I don't actually know if you're able to see me because of my team settings.
We can, you're all good.
Yay, love it. So I'm Phoebe. I'm the rep for Girl Guiding Ulster. I know I don't sound like it. It's because I was a student here and I've not left yet. But yeah, just if get in contact with the regional roles, find out who in your groups are the regional roles. You know, the sort of need for action in different places may be quite different. So for example, Girl Guiding Ulster, where I'm being a regional rep, is a very, very large region. It wouldn't necessarily make sense to do a protest in Belfast and to do one in Enniskillen, which is right on the other side of the country, because of the transport links. So a really important part of being a regional rep is going to be finding out what your community needs and acting within that. So for example, because of what I said, if you know anyone in Northern Ireland in Girl Guiding Ulster who'd like to come to it, something we are doing is a show up for trans inclusion event where we'll be hosting a public group for people to come and craft, have coffee, be social, and get to know their local community within Gate.
Thank you. I think the next question is for Lily, if you're happy to answer that one.
Yes, the question is, any signs of taking legal action? I'm not sure if they're referring to Gate or to other organizations, so I'll answer for both. In terms of Gate, as much as we would love to have lawyers that are experts in charity law and lawyers that are experts in human rights, we don't quite have that capacity at this stage. If you happen to be in one of those roles, do let us know. We'd love to meet you. We also don't have the finances. Lawsuits cost thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of pounds. The legal situation is, to use too small of a word, complicated. Essentially, for anyone who hasn't been following this kind of news, we're basically waiting on the government to release some guidance on how the Supreme Court ruling is actually meant to work. This is meant to come from the Minister for Women and Equalities. If you haven't already sent her a letter asking her to take action to make the situation legally viable for Girl Guiding to admit trans people again, please do go and write to her. We are aware of organizations such as the Good Law Project, who are, or very much do appear to be, building legal challenges. The situation is effectively that the gender critical side is saying this is the law. It very clearly says you must exclude trans women. The sort of trans inclusive side, a lot of them are also saying this is the law. It very clearly says that you must not exclude trans women. The fact is the law is very unclear at the moment, and certain groups are taking advantage of that. So some of the legal situation is not going to progress until that guidance is released. In the meantime, both sides are building legal cases. If you do want to know more about the sort of taking legal action, getting involved, do go and look up the Good Law Project and the kind of work they do, and basically watch this space, because there's a lot still to unfold before anything can really happen on the legal side of things.
Excellent. And then I think we have another question for Bethan about the merch.
Yeah. There was a question asking, is the merchandise role location or in-person based, or can it be done remotely? So really, it would be both. It would be a group of us. So if you happen to be someone who's local to me, which is generally in the Bucks region, or county, I should say, then you could come and assist with packing, or we can organise that kind of thing. But generally what we need in the group is just general organisations, making sure that we're ordering correct amounts, making designs, brainstorming ideas, contacting various companies, organising what we want for website uploads, all of those kind of bits. So if that's something you're interested in, I would love to hear from you, regardless of where you are. And then I think we're off to Elle next.
Yeah, so one of the questions we've received is, if you do the campaign 100 for 100 with a unit, do you have to create 100 of each? The simple answer is no. So for 100 for 100, the way it works is each individual actions, whether that be an individual cut out paper doll or a crochet square or a single craft or movement or activity, a single promise badge upside down, all counts as one action each time it's done. So if you're doing it with a unit, feel free to submit all of them. So if you have a unit of 14 and all of them do that activity, then you are submitting 14 towards the overall 100 of that challenge. Just remember that whatever you end up doing with your units or with your friends, your leaders, etc., please make sure to submit it onto our website so we can keep track of it and we have evidence that people are actually doing this, because that is what is important at the end of the day, is showing that visibility. So it could easily be done by 3, 4, even 5 units would be enough to take us over the edge for a lot of our challenges if each person did one of them. And that's the aim of it, is to try and get everybody as involved as possible. So submit your one action, because there is at least 100 other people out there who will do the same action, and we will get there for all of our challenges. The next question is also for me, so I will take that. It says, as a trans masculine individual who is part of Girl Guiding from Rainbows to Guides but left a while ago, what can I do to help? Simple answer is to join events. Of course, 100 for 100 is our most recent campaign, so absolutely get involved in that. There is so much more than just unit activities and leader-based activities within this campaign pack. It is about worldwide visibility and showing solidarity no matter who you are, especially so many of our GATE members are no longer a part of Girl Guiding due to the policy change. So this is not a Girl Guiding made campaign pack. It is made for everybody who wants to show solidarity with the trans community. Further, it says, how can furious non-guiders help? Same way. Just get involved, interact with us, spread the word, and just keep helping us spread our mission, because that is what needs to be done at the end of the day in order for us to be able to make impactful change. I will start the next question as well. It says, so what do we actually want? Do we want Girl Guiding to change their mind? The Supreme Court change their mind? and who are we shouting at and what are we shouting at them. So our mission statement remains very much the same. Our aim is to still make it very clear to Girl Guiding that membership as a whole does not support this decision, whether it's past membership, current membership, or even future membership in the way of our young members' voices. We do not support this. So that is our first step. The next one is to vocally and publicly demonstrate that we are against this decision in a unified front. So taking part in the actions, taking part in the challenges to make sure that we are visible, because as long as we remain visible, we can make our voices heard. I think overall, in order to move forward, we are still going to continue to put that pressure on Girl Guiding no matter what. But we are asking you guys, using the forum, using the chats, using everything that we've made available to you, to try and guide us where you want us to put our energy into, whether that is continuing solely on Girl Guiding or whether or not you do want us to change to governmental policy change. I'll pass on to Bowles to go into a little bit more. Sorry, I'll pass on to Anna to move on to a little bit more information about this.
Yeah, so once we've finished the last few questions, we will be sending out this form that will also be available on all of our social media and everything. And one of the sections of this is about what are our aims as an organisation, to hear from members what you want to be working on, and also for everyone to pick their number one priority, because I think that will really give us our direction, because then we'll know as a group of people what are our main priorities, because we obviously don't want to be screaming into the void. We want to make sure that our actions are impactful. So we will be making sure that we review what we're doing, but we're also taking that from the membership, what members want to see, and making sure that we analyze our strategy with our strategy advisors. And as a team, we'll be making sure that we are trying to work on things that will actually create change and work towards our mission statement. Alex, did you want to take the next one? Oh, sorry, Lily's got her hand up.
Sorry,
Yeah,
there's just one thing I'd like to answer to that question, if it's okay. The argument of Girl Guiding's hand was forced, what is the point? It's really important that we also think about the trans community at large that is under pressure, that is under attack, that is scared, and that is now being told Girl Guiding is not a safe space. There are girls watching in our units who are trans, who are questioning, who think they might be something or something else, who are scared. It is so, so important to make our voices heard and be very, very visibly in support of the trans community within and without Guiding. So what is the point? To stand up for our members is how I would answer that.
Yeah. So to lead on from what Lily has said, we've had another couple of questions come into the chat, which I think that myself and Becca are going to cover. They're quite similar in nature. So the first one being, having spoke to people who have said Girl Guiding's hand was forced, they can't do anything, and we don't have the money to take on the Supreme Court, so what is the point? What do I say to them in one sentence? So the Good Law Project say that this decision is unlawful and the legal position is very unclear. But even if it is the law is wrong. And we can work to change that. We can lobby to have a law changed if the law is not right. So that, I would say, in a sentence, is how you can respond to that. The next question that has come in the chat is, I'm at a crossroads here. Is it easier to support GATE and do more from within Girl Guiding, despite how it feels, or can enough good be done outside Girl Guiding to make real change? I am going to let Becca answer this one, but I would like to briefly say it's going to be personal for everyone. Everyone's decision, whether you are going to stay within your role in Girl Guiding or whether you choose to leave, is different and it's personal. And neither option is the correct option. And we can't tell you which option you should choose, because that is such a personal decision to all of us. But I will hand over to Becca to give you some more insight.
Yeah, well, basically, Alex has said pretty much all of it. All of Gates' work is accessible from outside of Girl Guiding. So if that's something you're concerned about, it doesn't have to be a concern. We're not sure how that would affect your ability to take part in the task force. We don't have many details on the task force at all. I know that some people might stay to try and be part of that. There's so many different factors to consider. I think I'm the only one from the lead team that is actually confirmed leaving guiding. But I've chosen to do that because the passion for it is gone on a unit level. I can't keep doing all of that admin and stuff. But for other people, the passion is stronger and they want to keep fighting with it. It's really a deeply personal decision. If you do want to talk through it with someone, you can put it in either one of the wider WhatsApp chats or the Discord, or you can get in contact with us on any of the socials or through the website or through the email. And I'm really happy to talk through that with you without an agenda and just figure out where your head is at. I think Elle wanted to take it after that.
Yeah, I just want to echo many of the things that have been said already, which is that is deeply personal, and that here at Gate we are doing our best to try and validate every single response that people have had from the reaction of this decision. There is no right, there is no wrong, other than the decision being the wrong thing to happen and being the wrong choice for Girl Guiding to take. And we all stand behind that, and we all stand with this mission that that was the wrong thing to do. So if you feel that that means that you can no longer be a part of guiding, we completely understand. If it drives you to want to stay into guiding even more because you don't want that to happen and you want it to be projected in your own units and your own voice being heard in your own variations, then that's good too. Every single reaction is valid, and not a single member of the Gate leadership team or the Gate community should or will judge you for those decisions, because we know that ourselves, we have contemplated with those and we're still back and forth and unsure where we're standing. So take your time, as Becca said, reach out if you are concerned or if you're needing a little bit of advice or support with this. But yes, all Gate stuff is accessible to people within all of our communities, whether that is current Gate, past current guiding, past guiding, or whatever kind of role as parents or supporters. Please just keep engaging with us, because there's something for everyone in this community. I'm going to pass on to Alex again, I think.
Perfect. I'm going to preface this question by saying this is going to be the last question that we're going to answer today. If you do have any more questions, please do submit them to us, and we will make sure to get answers out on our social media, or we can, create another document where we answer those questions and post that on our website. But we are keen to not keep you too long into your evenings. The last question that we do have is, do you know if trans leaders and volunteers are being made to leave by Girl Guiding? And is this just trans women or trans men as well? No one should be being forced out yet. Girl Guiding have made it clear that the policy currently relates to accepting new members. So as it currently stands, a trans woman or a trans child would not be able to join, but they could take other roles. For example, you may not be able to become a unit leader, but you can definitely be a unit helper. HQ have said that they don't want anyone to feel like they are being demoted, but we don't know how it won't feel like that. We are also unsure that this is legal for them to discriminate in that way. It really depends on what happens with the task force. What I will say is, if you have been pushed out of your role, if you feel as though you are being forced out of your role, you have to report that to safeguarding through Girl Guiding. We are more than happy to support you to do that. Please do reach out to Erin or myself as your safeguarding leads within Gate, or any of the lead team. We are all more than happy to support you to report, but you need to report. If they are not having reports come through, they do not know that it's happening. And as much as we can sit here and say, you know, they've made this decision and now it's business as usual, they can't know everything. And if we're not reporting it down their official channels, we can't expect them to be aware of it. We have been taking cases that we have been made aware of to Girl Guiding. But again, they can't officially do anything with those examples unless they are reported specifically through Girl Guiding's safeguarding channels. If you report to safeguarding that you have been pushed out of a role and you have not heard back within 5 to 7 working days, let us know and we will let HQ know, so that we can make sure that it is being picked up by the correct people. We will do everything within our power to support you guys. No one deserves to be pushed out of their roles. It's an uncertain time for an awful lot of us. And, you know, Becca and the welfare team, myself, Erin as your safeguarding leads, and the rest of the wider leader team, we're all here to listen and to support as best as we can. And the community that we have built already is so beautiful and so supportive of each other. And we are really, really privileged actually to be in this position where we get to meet all of you passionate people and support you to make moves within the guiding space, and yeah, work towards trans inclusion again.
Excellent.
I almost
Thank you
forgot
very
then
much,
to move us
everyone.
along. There we go.
So I've put the link to the form in the chat, or you can scan the QR code here. We do still have an open Q&A on our Instagram, so if you have any more questions that haven't been answered, you can share them with us there. And just finally, thank you so much for coming and for being part of this community. We're so proud of everyone's involvement and everything we've achieved so far. And we know you all have a lot to contribute, so please get in touch if you want to help. There's also an option to leave your email at the end of the form if you would like us to contact you. And this will also just help us understand our membership and our aims, and just be more aware of everything that we need to know from our community. So thank you all so much for coming. It's been really nice to be able to answer some of your questions directly, and I hope you've enjoyed hearing a bit more about what's been going on.